Lori, I have a session in here, just like 30 minutes. Okay, sorry. Good morning. It is 9 o'clock, so we'll be getting started in just a moment. Good morning and welcome everyone. We're going to get started in just a moment. I know there are a lot of people signing on, so we'll give them till about 9:01 and then we'll get going here. Good morning. See a few people saying good morning this morning. Okay, it is 9:01, so we're going to go ahead and start our Matrix Mondays. So good morning, my name is Christina Schaefer. I am one of the instructors here at HAR as well as the social media manager for HAR. I'll give you guys my information at the end of the session with my email address and phone number. So if you need to reach out to me after this, I'll have that up for you guys at the end. So what we're going to be going through today was a very, very popular request at the end of last week's Matrix Monday was for us to cover creating CMA reports in Matrix. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at the different CMA reports that you have available to you in Matrix. We have quick CMA that we'll go through. We have the standard CMA using the CMA wizard, and we have cloud CMA. So we're going to take a look at all three of those reports. Now, I should mention that we do have a 3-hour CMA class that you can look into taking. It's free. All of our MLS training is free. So it's a 3-hour class. You get 3 hours of CE for it as well. So that might be a good opportunity for any of you that are looking for more beyond what we're doing today. We're going to spend maybe 30, 40 minutes going through this today. But if you're looking for more in depth, how do I pick comps? How do I search the tax records? That kind of stuff. That would be something that I would definitely recommend taking the 3-hour class for. See, somebody said that she lost sound. Hopefully everyone else can still hear me. Maybe her internet's going in and out. But nothing's really changed on my end, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point, I've basically already gone in and put in criteria for the comparables. Okay, so Trish is saying she can hear me well. Thank you, Trish. Okay, so I put in the criteria for my comparables. Again, if you're needing help with this part, how do I pick comps? Maybe I'm a new agent. I don't know what makes a good comp or what doesn't make a good comp. That would be something that you would definitely want to take the CMA class for. So we offer that all the time. So basically, I've already gone in and picked the comp, put in my criteria on what I thought would give me the best comps. I can also review the map, and if there was a certain area that I wanted to draw on the map or anything like that, I can use those options there. Then when I go to results, I will see the matches that I have based on the criteria I put in, okay? So again, I've kind of skipped that step to speed us up because what we're focusing on today is creating the actual reports. So I'm just going to select a few comparables here. We're just going to pretend that I've gone through in depth and reviewed all these, and these are my good comps. So that's what I'm starting with basically at this point. So I've selected my comparables there. Now down here on this long blue bar, this is called your button bar. So I'm gonna review just a couple of these. We've talked about these in previous sessions: email, printing, getting driving directions, stuff like that. You have all those options, texting these listings. That's a lot of the things you'll see on the button bar. Also, if I were to click on save, that's where I have access to auto email. We've done a session about that in the past, setting up auto email so your client gets automatically notified about properties that match their criteria. So you have a lot of options down here in our button bar, but the three we're going to focus on today are this CMA right here, quick CMA, and then cloud CMA, okay? So starting with quick CMA, because it is the quickest to show you, if I click on quick CMA, it's going to open up a new window, And it just kind of gives me a little one-page report here that I can view. Now, on this one-page report, I'm going to see things like sold prices, sold price per square foot, sale price to list price ratios, and then I see averages for all of that information as well, okay? So I can see very easily here the average, for example, sale price per square foot is 265.57. Average, sale price to list price ratio, 97.82, okay? So I can kind of see, that data that I'm really looking for to get pricing right here easily on this report. I don't have to necessarily do too much math. It calculates, those averages for me, and then I can determine from there what I want to price at. So that's the quick CMA. Again, I just click on that report there, and that opens up the quick CMA. Now, this is a PDF. I can download it to my computer. I can also print it out. So you have those options there. If I wanted to email it, back here on the button bar where we see print/email PDF, I can click on that, select the quick CMA, and then I can either email or print it, okay? So that's the quick CMA. Not too much really to do on your end. The only thing you really need to do is select your comparables and then click the button. So that's quick CMA. Now, what I kind of tell people is quick CMA is the report. Again, it's going to give you the meat of what you need for pricing. It's giving you those averages, giving you that content that you need for pricing. So the information you need. But it's not, the most impressive or showy report. I can customize the header on here in my matrix settings, but that's really about it. This is all there is really to that report. If I'm looking for more of a listing presentation, I'm trying to, impress this client, I'm trying to put on the dog and pony show, if you will, that would be more something that I would select either the CMA using the CMA Wizard or Cloud CMA. Now, both of these reports or both of these programs here, they're going to allow me to kind of step-by-step go through, select reports that I would like or pages that I would like in my report, and then create essentially a listing presentation. The biggest difference between this CMA that we see here and Cloud CMA that we see over here is that Cloud CMA, it is a platinum tool, so you have to be a platinum subscriber to utilize that tool. But Cloud CMA is also going to allow me a lot more customization than the standard CMA would. So we'll kind of take a look at that today. We're going to kind of go through the process of building both reports so you can see how they're both built. And then we'll take a look at a preview of them so you can kind of see what that looks like. So we're going to go through those there. Alrighty, so if I'm going to click on CMA here, so we'll start with the standard CMA because this is the one that everyone has access to. So we'll start with this. So the first thing I need to do is select a contact that I'm creating this for or create a new contact. Just going to put myself in here as the contact person for this. Okay. And then I have the option to put a description. I'm just going to leave that blank. Then what I'm going to do here is kind of follow the steps left to right to create this CMA report or this listing presentation, if you want to call it that. So if I click on pages, now what it's going to do here, it's going to have me review what pages I want in my report. So this is what's available. Here's the selected. I don't have any selected at this point. Now I cleared this out intentionally to show you this, but after I've done this once, I've gone through and picked my pages once, I can actually click this Set as Default button, and Matrix will remember those reports for the next time. So really this process of selecting pages and deciding what I want or what I don't want, I only really have to do that one time. And then after that, Matrix remembers what I wanted the last time, and it has it set up and ready to go for the next time. So if I've already done a CMA in Matrix, the selected pages would already be there, and I could just move on to the next portion, which is putting in the subject property information. But for now, I do want to go through kind of reviewing this. Now, what a lot of people tend to do is they see the available pages and they say, oh, cover, yeah, I want a cover page. But if you notice, when I click on cover, I actually get 2 cover pages. So you don't want to do that. You actually want to hit the little plus sign there And that gives you a submenu, and then you can select what you want. So do I want a cover sheet or a cover sheet with a photo? I can do a cover sheet with a photo in this case. Subject/adjustments, again, I'm going to open that submenu up. I wouldn't want price adjustments for every property type, right? In this case, I'm doing single family, so I'll do the summary list and price adjustments. Now, on the comparables and the static reports, I would actually encourage you the first time to just click on that comparables button and add them all, and click on the static button and add them all too. Now, you're not going to use all of these reports. You're not. And you'll notice that a lot of the static reports, for example, they have similar titles. But the reason I'm encouraging you to add all the comparables and all the static the first time is so that you can go through the process, review what this report looks like, maybe print it out and really read some of the wording and fine print on some of the stuff here. And maybe, for example, I have effective overpricing, importance of pricing, setting the price, right? So a lot of stuff about pricing there, a pricing recommendation, well, that what you want. But, you know, some of the stuff on here, it might be duplicated information. So I would, again, suggest maybe print this out, compare these pages side by side and see what do I want to include or not include. And if there's something I don't want to include, well, I could always come back here after the fact, select that report, and then hit this little red X to delete it. And to do that for any reports that I'm not going to want in the future, then click set as default so it remembers it. Okay, so we'll kind of come back to that in a minute. So subject, I've got my pages in there. One more thing, I'm sorry about pages. You can also upload custom pages. So if I have some sort of document maybe my company uses or I like to use in listing presentations, I can upload that in here too. Subject, so there's a couple ways that I can enter in the subject property into this report. I can type the subject property fields in manually. I can enter in an MLS number to auto-populate from an MLS number. I can search for properties in the MLS to autofill from, or search for search tax records, excuse me, to autofill from as well. So we're going to use that last option to search from tax records. So I'm going to click that. Now notice the county, it already has Harris County selected. That is where the subject property is, so that's fine. All I need to do is search, and you see it gives me a lot of different options to search: zip code, tax ID number, owner name, etc. But the easiest way, and the way you'll probably use most often, is street number, street name. Now, street number, street name, on street name, we do not put the street suffix. So I put 4810 Laurel, but I'm not going to put street, drive, boulevard, anything like that. Just street number, street name. Now I'm going to click results to search the tax records. And it found a listing. And I could review it at this point and make sure it's the right one. 4810 Laurel in Bel Air, Harris County, and that's the owner name. That is the correct listing, so I'm going to go ahead and select it. Now, if it wasn't the correct listing, I could go back to criteria and search again. Okay, so I'm going to select the listing, and then I'm going to hit the blue Fill from Selected button. All right, so at this point, it's auto-populated a lot of information in here for me. This is really, really helpful. In the past, with previous programs, we had to manually type all this in. So the fact that we can auto-populate from a listing or from a tax record, it's really helpful. So I did pick the subject or the cover photo, the cover with a photo of the property for the cover, but also just in general, anywhere it has a picture of the subject property, it wants a photo. So good idea to get a photo of that property. I don't know if I have something I could throw in there. I'll just put something kind of random in there. That's not a house at all, but just something to put in there. So you can see what that looks like. So I do want to put a photo of the property. All right, so I've got this in here. Now, it did auto-populate this information from tax, but if I have additional information, for example, it didn't auto-populate garage capacity. I know it's a 2-car garage, so I could add that in there. You know, if there was anything else that I wanted to add in, I could add it in. Okay. Just kind of checking really quick for questions. Oh, I see there was a question about the difference between average and median. Thank you, Sergio, for answering that question. Yeah, if you have 3 homes that sold, the median would be the second of the 3. The average is the average of the 3. Yeah. So thank you for helping me out there and catching that question. All right. So moving over to cover. So I'm using one of our members' accounts. He lets us use his accounts from time to time for testing purposes and things like that. So I'm not going to update his information, but this does give you the opportunity to use or to upload a headshot here, so I can upload my photo there. I would encourage you to do that. It will print it on the report, so it looks really nice. So just keep that in mind. And that you can do in the My Matrix, My Information section. You can update the headshot there, the cover sheet there. Okay, so I could put more information for my contact. I'm not going to, but I could. And again, it already has the photo from the previous screen. Moving over to comparables. A lot of people think at this point they have to select the comparables. You don't really have to select the comparables. They're already selected. If you see it says selected comparables. But what I could do here is maybe I got to this point and said, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to include this one, right? I could select one and remove it. So that's an option. I can also add additional comparables after the fact. If maybe I'm coming back and wanting to add in something that was pending and then it went to sold and I want to add it in, I could add from listings or add from tax records or add from a cart. Okay, so I don't really need to do anything there because they're already selected. Map, there's not really much for you to do in the map screen either, just kind of review, you know, what you have there. I have my subject property and the 3 comps I found, so that's all there really is to do. It's already mapped it for me. Now on adjustments, and again, we talk about adjustments a bit in the 3-hour CMA class, but it does give you the opportunity to make adjustments. Again, if you're a new agent, you need help with adjustments or anything like that, I would encourage you to maybe get with a broker or a team leader or somebody like that that can help you with that. Or again, we have the 3-hour CMA class. We kind of talk about it in there a little bit as well. Pricing. So once I get to the pricing screen, it's given me some averages there. And there's 2 fields that I can type into, suggested list price and then notes. On suggested list price, it says enter the price or price range that should appear on the CMA, or you may leave this blank and write it in by hand when you meet with the client. So I'm actually going to leave it blank so you can see what it looks like. When you leave it blank, it doesn't look like something's missing from the report. It looks like it was intentionally left blank so that you can write something in by hand. But I could, if I at this point wanted to put a suggested list price in, I could do that. And then notes, if I wanted to explain anything there to my clients, you know, you can do that as well. If not, you can always have that conversation in person too. All right, so I've gone through, I've added my pages, I've got my subject property in here, so I'm ready to hit finish. So I've hit finish, and now I can view the CMA or email the CMA. So I'm going to go ahead and view the CMA, and it'll take just a second to load this data here. Now remember, I did include a lot of reports back on the pages screen here. I did include all of the comparables reports and all of the static reports. So my report's going to be pretty long. But again, I encourage you to at least check them out, see what they look like, see which ones you like, see which ones you don't like, use the ones you like, and just don't use the ones you don't like. So my report's actually 27 pages long, which is very long. But again, I wouldn't necessarily encourage you to use all of the pages because they do have a little bit of repetitive information on some of them. Okay, so there's my cover photo there. Again, your headshot would be there if you upload it. I have my summary of comparable listings, again, giving me kind of what we saw on the quick CMA earlier. So that's helpful to see. Then again, if I made any adjustments, I didn't make any adjustments, but if I did, we would see adjustments there. And you can kind of see these different reports. And again, review these, see what you like, see what you don't like. This one, for example, I've had some agents tell me they like this report. Some agents tell me they don't like this report. So kind of review it, see what it has. It's called minimums and maximums. Some people think it's great. Some people think it's confusing. I guess it just kind of depends on what comps you end up picking. But again, if I didn't like it, I could always come back to this pages screen here, find it, minimums and maximums right there, and then hit the red X to delete it. Okay, so pretty easy to do that. And again, I could do that on any of the reports. And once I click set as default, Matrix will remember those settings for next time. Okay, so we have cumulative days on market, price history charts, price graph. This is another one. Price history chart shows me the original list price, the list price, and the sold price. The price graph just shows me list price and sale price. So you probably don't need both. You know, it's completely up to you, but I would probably use the one with more information, the price history chart, but you know, it kind of just depends on what you want there. So again, those were right here, price history chart, list price, sale price. I would probably use the price history chart and get rid of the other one, but again, completely up to you. There's another summary. So we had a summary earlier, now we have a summary here. I would compare the two and see which one you like better. And then we just have the CMA Pro report. Now the CMA Pro report has several different pieces to it. These are all part of the CMA Pro report. Some people just use the Pro report and don't use any of the other comparable reports, so up to you. Here's the pricing recommendation sheet. Gives me, again, all of my averages here at the end, and then it says after comparing your property, analyzing your property, comparing it to what's on the market, etc., your home is most likely to sell for, and then it has this blank space where you can write that in. Again, I intentionally left it blank so you could see that. We have a map, and then we get to some static reports, and again, I would encourage you to review these. This one's called My Guarantee to You. I would definitely read through that. You know, effective overpricing. So those are your static reports. Again, I would just review them all, see what you like, see what you don't like, remove what you don't like, okay? Now, again, once I've come back in here to Matrix and I'm looking at this pages screen, if I've got this the way I want it, you know, I've moved things around, maybe I want to move the map up a little bit, right? So I can do that, kind of reorganize things or delete what I don't like. Once I hit set as default, it's going to remember that for the next time. So when I go to create a CMA in the future, it will already know these are the pages I want in my report. So that's really helpful. Okay. So can you upload a logo to show on the report? Really, the customization for this CMA, the standard CMA, all we can really do is, you know, choose the pages we want. You have the opportunity in the cover area to upload a photo. I guess you could put your logo there if you wanted that there instead of your headshot, but that's really it. The header and footer, the color scheme, the layout, this kind of stuff, that's standard. It's not something we can edit. Now that it's a great segue, Rhonda, you asking that, because in Cloud CMA, I can, okay, I can change that. Rachel asked, how can you access tax information after selecting the properties? If you're just, I'm not sure I understand the question. If you're just asking how to access tax records, we just go up to public records here and click on realist tax. But if that's not your question, go ahead and rephrase for me if you don't mind, Rachel. Okay, so that was the standard CMA using the CMA wizard, okay? I'm gonna go to my recent searches here and pull up that search again. And so we've done quick CMA. We've done this CMA here using the CMA wizard. And we're going to get into Cloud CMA. But before I get into Cloud CMA, I just want to show you, and I think we've talked about this in a previous session, the CMA that I just created, if I go up to My Matrix and go to My Matrix CMAs, I'm going to see any of the CMAs that I've created in here over the last 180 days. So any CMAs that I've created for the last 6 months. It does notify me before a CMA is set to purge. So, you know, you'll get notified there, so you can save it beyond the 6 months if you need to, but otherwise it purges after 6 months. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the search that I ran. So I still have my 3 comps picked here. We looked at quick CMA, we look at standard CMA, and now we are going to go to Cloud CMA. When you create a standard CMA, does it use this search that you created? Trish, it uses the comps that you pick from the search, so it doesn't really take into account what you searched as far as criteria. It doesn't list that anywhere necessarily. It only really focuses on the 3 comparables you picked. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to click on Cloud CMA. So what it's done here, it's pulled the comps that I picked. If you see there, it's opened up this Cloud CMA program. It's actually taken me out of Matrix now. It's opened this Cloud CMA program, but it pulled in the comps that I picked. So at this point, you know, I can put in my client's information, put in my subject property information. The photo of the subject property, property type, put you know, some specifics about the property in there as well, and then I can hit fetch listings. Okay, what it's going to do from there, and I'm just going to kind of skip ahead to show you guys this. What it's going to do from there, I'm going to pull up one that I've already created here to edit it. Once I hit fetch listings, it'll bring me to this screen here where I can review them. It's giving me my averages. And I have a spot again where I can type in a suggested list price, but I can also leave it blank. So completely up to you there if you decide to do that. Now, if I move on to the next section, which is customize report, it's kind of the same process as the standard CMA, but just a lot more options here. You can reorganize these. You can click, hold, and drag and move them around. Cover letter, agent resume, our company, and marketing action plan. If you notice, they all have an edit button next to them. So on the cover letter there, I can click on the cover letter and I can edit the cover letter, whatever I want to say. They do have some templates in there that you can kind of use as well if you need some help with that. Marketing action plan, same thing. They do have some templates that you could utilize or create your own from scratch. So again, when you're using the standard CMA or the CMA, the Cloud CMA, excuse me, you know, they're both essentially creating listing presentations. So the fact that you have this editable information, it is helpful to have that. Again, I can delete some if I don't want some of these pages in my report. I can reorganize them. Now, on the summary of comparable properties, you do, in the listing section, you do have the option to include the details of each comparable we found and all of the photos as well. Now, maybe I don't want all of the photos. That's way too many. Well, that's fine. I can delete it. But in the other CMA, we don't even have the option. We just get that one photo. So, you know, it really makes it look really nice to be able to see all the photos. And again, we have some comparable reports, some static reports, etc. Now, over here on the right-hand side, you can pick a theme for your Cloud CMA. His company has a theme. Some companies have themes that you can use. He's also part of CRS, so there's a CRS theme he could be using. Or there's just a ton of different color schemes in here. If my company is black and gold or red or purple or whatever my colors are, I can pick that. There's also some different types here. Beach, for sale. Probably wouldn't necessarily use, I thought it said mountains, never mind, mountain flower. I was gonna say, we don't really have mountains here, but anyway, so they have different things here you can utilize. You can check those out and see a preview of what they're gonna look like there. His company has a theme, so that's the one he's chosen to use. Also layout, you can pick the layout of the photo, of the comps as well. He's chosen this 2-photo layout. But you know, you have a photo with a map, 2 properties per page, 4 properties per page, 3 columns, 4 columns. So you have a lot of options here. And that's what's great about it. You might not use all of these reports, but you have more options than you do with the other one. And then there's also, you can pick your font. You can use the font that comes with your theme, or you can pick a different font as well. So once I click Publish Report, it'll be all done. It'll publish the report for me. Let me show you what it looks like once it's published. I love that you guys are helping each other out and asking and answering questions. What's the consensus on how many properties you should use for Cloud CMA? Marty said 3 to 5 max. So if there's other opinions, you guys can weigh in. But I love that you guys are doing that. Okay, so here's the report I just created. Again, this is one of our members' accounts that he's letting us use. So we see his company theme here on the report. This is a map. Now, this isn't the same comps I used earlier. This is a property in Tiki Island, but that's the subject property, the address, prepared for. Here's his information down here, because again, this is his custom footer, his cover sheet, his resume. There's a contact me sheet. So then we have a static report. What is a CMA, right? How is it created? How accurate are they? There's a map of the comps that we found, a summary. So it's going to have the same data, but just the option for a lot more. For each of the properties, I can have a full property detail page, which that isn't an option in the other one. And then again, I said he's also using all the photos. So I can see all the photos here as well for each of the comps that we found. And again, you may not want to use all the photos. You don't have to, but it's not even an option in the other one. So it's really nice. So there's a comparable property statistics. Now this report we don't have in the other one, and I think it's helpful. It says online valuation analysis. Okay, again, we would be using this as a listing presentation. Let's say I go, and I'm going to meet with this seller. They're going to already have gone to, probably 5 different websites and found what they think their home should sell for, right? But this is kind of speaking to that if they're kind of surprised by your suggested list price, because it's saying, here's the comps I found, here's when they sold, here's what they sold for, here's what Zillow said they would sell for, this is the Zestimate, okay, and the percentage difference it was between the Zestimate and the actual sold price, okay? These differences aren't that bad. I've seen some 30 and 40% wrong or inaccurate. So if you imagine somebody listing their home for 40% more than what it actually sold for, I mean, that's a tough situation. So, this is a really helpful report, I think. We're not using, or why are we using Zillow? That's just the one example that it uses here to just kind of explain that, these third-party sites, especially in Texas, aren't going to give them the most accurate information. And you can kind of explain that's why it's important to work with a realtor and use, the information they're giving you. So they just use Zillow as an option here. You could, gather same information for different websites as well, but this is the one that they chose to use for this report. And again, if you don't like this report, you don't have to use it. When using Cloud CMA, is it more for a person on mobile? It will appear nice layout on their desktop. Janet, both, actually. I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, so then, again, we have more comparable data here, and then you'll get into some, here's his marketing action plan, and you'll get into some static reports and things like that. So similar as far as the data, the numbers are exactly the same. It doesn't matter which one you use for that. You're not going to come up with different pricing. Really just focus on the layout, the ability to control more about the report. So you have, those options here. Okay, the first thing I would do, now again, you only have access to this if you're a Platinum subscriber. The first thing I would do if you haven't been using this and you are a Platinum subscriber is just go into Cloud CMA, click on your settings up in the top right-hand corner, and make sure your information, your headshot, your company logo, make sure they're uploaded in there. And then maybe just do a trial run, just do an example one for yourself so you can kind of pick your reports. And I would suggest that in either one, whichever one you're using. Do a trial run, pick your pages that you want in the report, so that when you are pressed for time and actually needing to create a CMA for a client, you're ready to go, okay? Cloud CMA does have some other things in here. They have buyer tour reports, property reports, and flyers as well. So that's just in addition to the CMA that you have some other reports as well. Now, to answer Janet's question, in both the standard CMA and Cloud CMA, you have the opportunity to view it. So I could just pull up the PDF on my desktop or laptop computer. I can email it. I have some other share options here as well. So I can do that with both. But Cloud CMA does give me one extra option that I don't have in the other one, and that is to present it, okay? So this would be something, basically it says right here in the bottom left-hand corner, it's optimized for iPad. So I can actually present it. I could pull it up on my iPad or my tablet, and I could present it to my client on that device. So if I hit this little next button here, there's his information. There's the subject property and the comps that I found. Then it says sold listings. Recent home sales can be the best indicators of what your home is worth. And then it'll show the first comp, and I can kind of click to see more information about the second comp, the third comp. There's my averages. Again, you have that Zillow valuation analysis there as well. Sold property analysis. So if you could just imagine kind of clicking through this as you're there with a client or potential client, it looks really nice. It makes you look really tech savvy, and you didn't have to create this presentation. It was done for you. You just kind of input the data there. So it has the next steps, has a little bit of the static reports, but then it's not that long, right? But the other one that we had was pretty long. So at that point, I've given them the meat, right? And at this point, I could click here to view the full CMA, so the whole report we just looked at with more details, or I could just go ahead and email it to them or as well. So you have either option there. It's really neat. But the present option, I just think that's a really great option for you guys. Again, it makes you look, I love things that make you look tech savvy, even if you don't have to be tech savvy. So that's the present option I have there. These are saved in here, by the way. There is no expiration. They don't purge. They save until you physically come to delete them. Okay. Just checking for any other questions here. Or says she uses Cloud CMA for her clients. She finds it easier to use. Yeah. Is there a class for just Cloud CMA? We do cover it in the CMA class, and we cover it in the HAR MLS Platinum Tools class because it is a Platinum tool. So yes, Cindy, I kind of gave that disclaimer at the beginning that we'll move a little quickly in today's session, but you can always go back and re-watch this video. It'll be in the video section on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel right after we're done. So you can always re-watch this if it went a little too fast, but we do have the 3-hour CMA class that you can take. It's in person, it's hands-on. That would maybe be a good option. And I think I just answered Linda's question. Where can I see this from the beginning? As soon as we finish, it will be up in our Facebook video section, so you can watch it there. Can CMAs be used for buyer clients to find out the best offer price? Absolutely, yeah. You know, you're just doing more in-depth research by doing that, yeah. Okay, so I'm glad that you guys had some good dialogue going on in the comments section. Just going to, well, I was going to put up my information, but I forgot I'm in his account. So let me just tell you my information. Again, my name is Christina Schaefer. My email address is the easiest way to reach out to me. I can actually just type it into the browser here. It's just Christina@har.com, Christina with no H at har.com. I typed it up here in the browser so you guys can see it. I know that seems a little silly, but I don't want to have to log out and log in and all that stuff. So if you need to reach out to me, just CRISTINA@har.com. You can also always reach out to our MLS Quality Assurance Department. Just call HAR's main number, and you can either reach the operator and ask for MLS or extension 376. Okay. Thank you guys for joining. I'm glad we got some good questions in today. I know this was something that you all wanted last week. Had a lot of requests for it. So I'm glad that you guys requested it and I was able to give it to you. If you have requests for future sessions, please send them my way. I'm definitely looking to teach you guys what you want to learn. So if you have requests for something in the future that we haven't already done, please send that my way so that I can look into doing that for you guys. Thank you so much, and I see you guys thanking me. You are very, very welcome. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you have a great week. And again, please feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions after today. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.